What's up guys, Nintendo Enthusiast here. Today I wanted to talk about Darksiders Warmastered Edition for the Nintendo Switch, and I have not completed the game yet, but I have beaten a few levels and I've gotten pretty deep into it now, and I'm excited to talk about it. So here's my review impressions, but wait, before that I do want to mention that I'm going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin from April 12th to April 14th for the Midwest Gaming Classic, so if you're in the area, please come hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be giving stuff away. Anyway, let's jump on into the review. Deceived by the forces of evil prematurely bringing about the end of the world, War, the first horseman of the apocalypse, stands accused of breaking the sacred law by inciting war between heaven and hell. In the slaughter that ensued, the demonic forces defeated the heavenly hosts and laid claim to the earth. Yeah, that's the story description of Darksiders, and that's honestly all you really need to know. This is pretty much a game about brutally murdering anything that's in front of you, but with a pinch of the Legend of Zelda? Yes, you heard that correctly. If you haven't played Darksiders, it's the perfect blend of God of War and The Legend of Zelda, and I'm loving the time that I'm spending with it. So like I was saying before, there is a story, but honestly, I couldn't really get into it. It just seemed like the typical heaven versus hell ordeal, and while entertaining with the cutscenes, I was never very enthralled by any of the story bits. However, where the game shines the brightest is the combat and the puzzles. And I was honestly surprised by the visuals. There's lots of different environments and they actually use diverse colors. You're not just getting the same dark brown, red, gory game that you would expect when you look at the cover of the game. There's a lot of bursting visuals and tons of explosions that happen on screen at once, which is why I'm impressed and happy to say that the game runs splendidly on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I couldn't find clarification anywhere, but the game looks like it's running at 60 FPS, and the game does actually have two different modes. It has a performance mode and a high quality mode, and I switched back and forth between the two, and I honestly couldn't tell that big of a difference. If I had to guess, it's looking like 1080-60, but don't hold me to that, and I'm sorry that I'm not able to give the exact information. However, the game looks great, and I know the graphics aren't super impressive. You can obviously tell this was a last generation game. However, when playing in handheld mode, I still cannot believe we're getting games of this quality on the go. It almost goes without saying the game looks and runs just as good undocked. And one feature that I use often on my Switch, but I always forget to mention in my reviews, which I'm going to start doing, is yes, you can use the record function. I always record clips whenever I'm playing my Switch games, and it's nice knowing which games can use it before I buy. So yeah, you can capture 30-second clips of Darksiders Warmastered Edition on Nintendo Switch. Throughout the game, you learn a bunch of different moves that you'll end up implementing inside each level. Along with that, similar to The Legend of Zelda, you'll get new items at your disposal that you can also use to solve puzzles and destroy bad guys. Ever since the game launched, there was always criticisms that the game didn't really have its own personality, that it was pretty much a bunch of different games combined into one. But honestly, I think that's perfectly fine. Why not get something that we're familiar with and that we know we already love? Darksiders is pretty much The Legend of Zelda with God of War combat. And if that sounds interesting to you, then there's no reason why you shouldn't pick up this game. The Nintendo Switch version is running and looking great, and I did not have any major issues with it whatsoever. At least not yet. I'm very excited to keep playing this game, and I'll probably end up playing the sequels now that I finally played this one. That's my review impressions of Darksiders Warmastered Edition. I'm still not okay with that name. For the Nintendo Switch, it's a blast. I think you should pick it up, and it's at a $30 price point, which isn't too bad. I mean, it is an older game and you can probably find it cheaper, but you know, this is enhanced version that you can play with you wherever you want, so it's not that bad in my book. That's all guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, or maybe even that notifications bell if you're feeling generous. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you guys later.